cough today. A bit of sore throat for the past few days. It's all good though. All because you're vegan. Don't mean you're not going to get sick, alright? Just had a bit of a cold. So we're going to sit back. We're going to relax. We're going to chill out. Hopefully my Rode mic is going to work good. Sometimes you've got to hold it pretty close, but we're just going to rest it down there. I've actually, well, a few weeks ago, I did actually send Jessie a message. I was keen to actually to enter this, right? I'm being serious. But let me see, April, January, March, April. Summer last year was quite good for me. I didn't like ride loads. Then August, September, I developed a little niggle in my knee, and it's only taken till now, really. It seems like a long time, but till it's kind of gotten like pretty much fully healed, because I kept riding on it and neglected it, rested it, but not enough, and then rode it. And anyway, you could say I've rehabilitated my knee. I've had injuries from skateboarding and stuff in the past. I kind of pretty much know what's up to kind of heal and get myself fit again. Anyway, had it have been, right, the tail end of 2014, that summer for me personally was quite a good year as far as cycling goes. I probably would have booked a ticket and gone for this indie pack, and had a go at it, because it has got me pretty amped up. You can see how G'd up like Harley is about it, and it just seems such a fantastic race to actually race. You know, this first like edition, I guess, or season of this bike. I'm going to call it ride, although yeah, it technically is a race. But you're going to be racing, but it's not the sort of racing that a lot of people are familiar with. It's a different game altogether, isn't it? I think like mentally, I'm all not there to kind of take on something like this. Fitness wise at the moment, no, it's a non-starter. That's why, you know, I wouldn't even bother turning up. But when you want to ride of that like length, a mental attitude's going to go a long way. You can kind of forget everything else. That will like obviously fall into place, but the actual attitude you have day to day will help you get far, okay? Obviously you're going to have to be fueled up, because you're going to need to be managing time, every little bit amount of time, even like talking to people, or, you know, going to the toilet, or like, you know, taking a shit down the road in the bushes versus queuing up for a restroom somewhere or something, you know. Obviously restrooms obviously going to be your friend, because you can have a freshen up in those, but there's just so much to think about, and you can't think about everything, can't overthink things on a ride like this. What you eat on the bike normally, yeah, it might work on the bike doing something like this, but it's such a long ride. You're going to get so much like sleep deprivation, fatigued, maybe even get sick. There's so many factors that can come in that can determine your position, people's position in this race, right? So nutrition on the bike, it might not work on a ride of this length. You might be craving, your body will let you know what you need. You're going to be craving other things, right? And again, the mental game of, focus on yourself. You're going to need to be looking after your body every day, aren't you? You really need to be looking after yourself, because you are self-supported. And it's you at the end of the day which is going to get your sorry ass from Fremantle to the Sydney Opera House, isn't it? So, as far as mental game goes, they're going to be like presenting themselves every second of every minute of every hour. Even from the start, you're going to get people setting off quicker than other people, alright? It doesn't mean they're going to be ahead of you all the time. It's going to be sort of cat and mouse the whole time, really. But then again, look, if someone's going to get, let's just say Mike Hall gets like 500 Ks in front of everybody or something, and, you know, like, it's going to be a certain time gaps and distance gaps where they are really going to be impossible to close, unless someone, like, say, gets sick or they get some mechanical or something. Anything can happen in something like this, right? Best of luck to everybody doing it, man, because it's pretty damn fucking gnarly, isn't it? With all those different temperature ranges, I don't know. I'm only basing it on like some of the stuff I've done. I've only really been getting into like longer distance rides in what I'm capable of in the past like 4 or 5 years, I guess, since I sort of started playing around and changing my diet more. And to be out there riding all night on your own, it's strange. Yeah, again, it's a mental game, and to be riding all through the night when you're on your own and then the sun starts to come up, it's like, what am I doing out here? What am I going? Why am I putting myself through this? But you know, I do a lot of thinking when I'm on the bike, and in those twilight hours, it is kind of some of the most amazing experiences you can experience. I mean, I've been down Cornwall and Devon, like early hours of the morning, like in the summer and like in the warmer months, and coming back over like the moors and the rolling hills at that time of the day when you're seeing deer and wildlife and the sun coming up, slight chill in the air. It's just amazing, isn't it? Like to think that you've propelled yourself that far on your bicycle. But you know, as far as back-to-back riding goes, like that day to day, again, that's a different thing. I've done a few back-to-back rides. Going back sort of 6 or 7 years, I've done a few 300-kilometre rides on my own, and then coming up, say, 4 or 5 years ago, a few 400s. Again, I didn't record those because at the time I wasn't using like Garmin or anything. I had like an old is it a Cat-Eye MITI computer. But you know, again, back then I wasn't really sort of Strava or showing other people what I'm doing. In helping, you know, because I've seen all these other people, it just inspires everybody, doesn't it? You know, like what can you do on your bike? Even newer cyclists, and yeah, and even doing rides like that, they like killed me really. I mean, it took me like a week to recover, and then I started doing a few like sort of back-to-back 200 kilometers, edging up to 3, and yeah, it's a completely different game. It's kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy. I did a 359 kilometer one, which was, I think that was a tail end of 2014, quite late in September, and nearly died on that. Again, it was just an abnormally hot evening, turned into like an even hotter like morning, and then come midday, I just kept stopping and down in the liquids, and I really don't know what got me through that. I think I did actually get through like 3/4 of the way of the ride, and then thought, well, I've come this far. I just need to get. I'm just breaking it down into little parts rather than thinking of like A to B, the finished ride. So that's another thing to look at. Don't look at it as like the whole ride. Break it down to little parts and just take. It's like you're taking these steps, and each step is obviously closer to the end result. But some of these places are so remote. I mean, even around where I live, you can get to remote places, all right? I mean, you know, no one's going to hear you scream in the hills at like in the early hours. So yeah, man, my hopes of safe riding for everybody and enjoy it, and there's definitely a fight against man and machine, and the machine will always win, you know, like providing you don't get mechanical, your bike's going to be there, it's going to be wanting to be kept riding all the time, versus you, it's getting broken down every second of every minute of every hour. Imagine those headwinds, you know, relentless headwinds. We've only got like a few litres of water left, and you've got like another 80 kilometres to go, you know, and the temps are like right up, getting smashed on the face by like sand and grit. And again, that's what you got to think about, what you're going to carry, you know, lightweight balaclavas and neck protection, sun protection. You might be lucky not to even experience any rain. It might just be like severe like cold in the mountains and heat. Could be a dry ride, who knows? You might be lucky like that. Then again, you might experience a few days of severe like storms or something. But it's the adventure, and everyone taking part's a winner. everyone taking part's a winner and something like this. Even if you drop out, man, to actually line up on that start line and do something like that, it's just like... So that's what I want to share. Just want to say that. I might do a few more videos like this because I'm just stoked on this ride like a lot of other people are. Hence, just wanting to make this. Oh yeah, all these people that are doing it, man. I mean, Sarah Hammond, get yourself a YouTube. You'd be good on YouTube, I think. You got a good heart. You seem like a good girl. Get yourself a YouTube. We want to see some videos like right out there, like whilst you're getting blasted by headwinds or something. And to be honest, a lot of these people might think, no, I couldn't do that, whatever. But if you do a YouTube of something like this, and it becomes valuable in the later years, like, you know, you look back on something. I mean, I look back at some of my YouTube videos 2 or 3 years ago now, and thinking I'm glad I've done them. So like, you can do the same with something like this. You can think like, wow, yeah, that was just fantastic. Anyway, P-Roll, over and out. See you later.